Scott's right. Funny a difference that a week makes in football. After Arsenal's draw with Manchester City, everyone was writing them off. Fast forward to now, and all of a sudden they're title favourites once again. They are, with the bookmakers, title favourites because of that late dramatic win that both Crook and I were at the weekend. It does feel as if that maybe, Crook, could be a bit of a turning point. And when we were in the tunnel afterwards and we were chatting with Mikel Arteta, he was exuding an enthusiasm and confidence that I've rarely sort of seen from him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wrote a piece for the talkSPORT website afterwards about how it felt like a statement victory because they've got such a poor recent record at St James's Park, because Eddie Howe has seemed to have Arteta's number in recent seasons, and it was just a bit of a turning of the tables. And actually, I think Mickey Gray said on air at the end of the game that Arsenal didn't deserve to win. Perry Groves obviously challenged that with his Gooner spectacles on, but we watched the game back on Sunday evening, and they did deserve to win. Arsenal. They created all of the chances, apart from the goal that Voltemada took really well when Gabriel was bullied. Newcastle didn't really lay a glove on them in an attacking sense, and actually Eddie Howe was quite down on his team's performance, and we thought maybe that's just a reaction because they've lost it late. But no, I think he gave quite an honest appraisal of the situation. But you talked about Chelsea and their lack of leaders. You can't accuse Arsenal of that. They've got leaders all over the pitch. I think Mikel Arteta got his substitutions right, and maybe when he talks about finishers and we mock him a little bit, we've got to sit up and take notice because those players he's bringing off the bench are having an impact. I think the fact they're favourites is as much a reflection of how much Liverpool have struggled at the start of this season as anything Arsenal have done. But yeah, let's see if they can back it up, because they lost to West Ham last season. Really disappointing performance. I don't think that will happen again this weekend. And who knows, if Liverpool drop points, then maybe we could see a situation where Arsenal are slashed even more with the bookmakers.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Because, I mean, not everybody was taking the mickey out of Mikel Arteta. Some people like him. I mean, you know, as I've been saying, you know, I think it's the Lego hair. He reminds me of you a little bit. I like him because, you know, he's got the similar sort of issue where it doesn't matter what he does to it, it always looks the same.
He needs some Goldstein's golden paste. To tell you, I tried that.
He does.
This week.
He does.
Not that. There you go, little plug.
Is it? Yeah. I noticed that you put a picture on Instagram with a little hashtag as well. And I thought, I wonder if that's a free tub of paste. And I texted Andy and asked him. And he said, yes, he basically begged me for it. I said, I'll get one on Friday, please. I think the other thing about Mikel Arteta is, and like, you know, I think people do sort of take the mick out of him a little bit and try and make him out to be a David Brent figure. I don't think he's like that at all. I've got a healthy respect for him, and I've mentioned it a lot on this podcast, dating back years. So I'm not a newcomer to this party. But the idea that bringing in extra players in that front battalion has really pushed the ones that were already there on. Trossard is playing better. Martinelli is coming up with really important moments, Scott, because they know that they've got to retain a high level of performance, because otherwise there's someone there of really significant quality that's going to take their place.
Yeah, and it may not even be a conscious thing that they were doing, and I'm thinking more Martinelli than Trossard. But when you know that if you're not going to be bang on it all the time, you're going to be on the bench at best, then absolutely it brings out the best of you, or it should, and it certainly has. I think Gyökeres, and he's still not 100% fit. I think there's a lot of strikers in the Premier League that are not 100% fit because they were fighting to get their move. When he is that sort of a player and bang on it, and they understand exactly how to get the best out of him, he will be scoring a lot more. And then you've got some just great players. And on top of that, and I understand if people say Chelsea can't moan about key players being out. Well, Arsenal have done exactly what I'm sure Maresca would have wanted to have happened at Stamford Bridge. They've given him really good players and strength in depth. Defensively, midfield. The only thing I'd say is if Gyökeres is injured, what do they do? But they just do what they did last season. Obviously, they need Havertz back fit as quickly as possible. They just have a strength in depth that, is the best out there. And where we were saying earlier about Liverpool scoring the late goals, are they lucky? And Arsenal, it seems to be different. I think Arsenal almost need that. They need that kind of defining game that they can look to give them the belief that they can go on and do it. Liverpool don't. But there's no doubt about it, that was a massive, massive win. And even midweek, and I sat on the train was working on the Monaco game, obviously City, but I met a few Arsenal fans that I know, and I was sitting talking about them. He said about the team that he picked, they weren't sure, and yet still got the job done. This is a really good strength in depth, and things are looking great for Arsenal for sure.
Yeah, very good squad. And just have a quick word on Gyökeres, because actually he didn't score in midweek, but it looks like he's getting closer and closer up to speed. And actually, the goal that they do score to put them in front is really all down to him. He looks second favourite. He's squeezed between two defenders, and he uses his incredible strength and frame to bustle his way past them and force the ball past the goalkeeper. It comes back off the post, and Martinelli nips in and puts it home. But that, I think, there are signs, and I think I mentioned this to you the other week. Again, I saw them against Nottingham Forest, and you could just see they're just starting to connect with him a little bit better, Crook.
Yeah, and actually I thought he did quite well in terms of almost a running battle, if you like, against Malik Chow, who I really like the look of, and Sven Botman at St James's Park. So he isn't going hiding in games. He's not afraid to put himself around. He's leading from the front. I think it will come for Gyökeres. Will he get 20 Premier League goals? I'm not sure, but I think he'll get between 15 and 20, and who knows, that can make a massive difference.